These two cameras currently dominate the entry-level end of the field for Fuji, and they both pack an incredible punch at a great price point. So the question is, which camera's for you? This is the Fuji X-M5 versus the Fuji X-T30 Mark III. Now we'll get it out of the way. This Fuji X-M5 is a camera that I own and I love. If you guys follow me on here, you guys know how much I love this camera. And this one, the Fuji X-T30 Mark III, this camera just came out and Fuji sent it over for me to review. No money changed hands, but it is good to know that they did send me this to review and specifically to compare to the X-M5. Now this video is perfect for you if you are looking to get an entry-level Fuji camera, whether that's because you are a more beginner photographer or because you want a body in your lineup that is great for everyday casual use, like traveling, taking pictures of family and friends, and that kind of thing. So we're going to run through some of the similarities between these two cameras because there is a lot of them. Then we're going to talk about some of the differences, and then I'm going to recommend which camera might be the better purchase for you. Now, before we go into any of the details, I want you to remember one overarching theme about these two cameras, and that is that the Fuji X-M5 is a video-first camera, whereas the Fuji X-T30 Mark III is a photo-first camera. And even though a lot of the specs are the same between these two cameras, there are minor differences which we'll get into that make the X-M5 video-focused and the X-T30 Mark III photo-focused. Alright, first up, let's talk about the similarities. The biggest and most obvious similarity is that both of these cameras have the same 26.1 megapixel CMOS 4 sensor with the same X processor 5 inside. So in terms of image resolution, they're going to be identical. And with that same X processor 5 inside, you're also going to get the exact same autofocus speed and performance as well. And then for video, you also have almost identical specs. Both of these cameras can shoot 6.2K open gate video at 30 FPS, 4K at 60 FPS, and 1080 at 240 FPS. And they can both shoot 422 10-bit footage in F-Log2. Now there is one difference in the video specs between these two, but I'll get to that in just a second. The last and most obvious similarity between these two cameras is that neither of them have in-body image stabilization or IBIS. They only have digital image stabilization, which some people will consider to be a big con to both of these cameras, but neither of them have it. The first camera in the Fuji lineup to have IBIS would be one step up from the X-T30 Mark III, and that is the XS20, but neither of these guys have IBIS. And so for most consumers that are shopping for an entry-level camera, they're really only looking at a few things out the gate. They're looking at the photo capabilities, the megapixels, as well as the video specs. And on these two cameras, like I just explained, they are very similar. But the differences between these two cameras are what make them unique and what will help you in your decision-making process. So let's get into the differences now. Remember at the start of the video, I said that the X-M5 is a video-first camera and the X-T30 Mark III is a photo-first camera. The differences between these two cameras are what really brings that to light. So first, the most obvious difference is that the X-T30 Mark III has a viewfinder and the X-M5 doesn't. Now, traditionally, for photography, you're going to want a viewfinder for a bit more of a comfortable experience while doing shoots. Whether that's you're just out traveling and wanting to shoot candid photos, or you're doing an actual full-on photo shoot, having a viewfinder is obviously a big plus. The X-M5, you don't have that viewfinder, so you're just relying on the LCD screen. Now, speaking of those LCD screens, technically on paper, the X-T30 Mark III has a little bit of a higher resolution screen. It's negligible. The biggest difference, however, is that on the X-M5, your screen is a fully articulating LCD, one that tilts and flips and faces forward if you want to do video where you see yourself on the screen at all times. Whereas the X-T30 Mark III has a tilt type LCD, one that only tilts up and down, but not out. It doesn't articulate outwards. Now, some people will argue that that style of screen is better for photographers. I can definitely see that argument, but net, I think having the fully articulating screen is going to be a plus no matter what. And so even though you get that slight edge in the resolution bump on the new X-T30 Mark III screen, I still think the screen on the X-M5 is a better screen overall, just because of that articulating feature. The next difference might be a minor one for you, but if you do a longer video, it might be a bit more of a major difference, and that is in the video specs, technically the X-M5 can write at a higher bitrate up to 360 megabits per second, whereas on the X-T30 Mark III, you are maxed out at 200 megabits per second. If you don't know what I'm talking about, that proves my point that this might not be a difference that you care about or should care about at all. But if you do know what I'm talking about, then you will know that that extra megabits per second write speed for video is advantageous and will be beneficial on the X-M5. Again, only relevant if you're doing lots of video on these cameras. Another difference is something that I really wish the X-M5 has, but it unfortunately doesn't, and that is that the X-T30 Mark III has a flash. And yeah, I know on-camera flashes can be a bit cheesy sometimes, but honestly, this one is pretty decent, has a good throw, obviously works really well with the camera because it's built in. And in my experience over the past week or 2 weeks with this camera, it has served me really well to have that flash. Then there's the bodies between these two cameras. Now, the X-M5 body is obviously the smaller and slightly lighter camera out of the two of them, but really it is negligible. Both of these are very portable, very light cameras. If I had to choose one, I would say I prefer the body of the X-T30 Mark III. You get a little bit more room for your fingers and a bit more depth on the thumb grip on the back and the front finger grip as well, whereas that same grip on the X-M5 is just not as deep and doesn't feel as sturdy, which is actually the exact reason why I ended up buying this small rig extra grip for my X-M5. It makes it so much easier to hold and frankly almost identical then to the X-T30 Mark III. Now I'll let you look visually here at the differences in dials on the two cameras, but one of the callouts between these two cameras in terms of dial differences is that that film simulation dial on the left hand side, the X-M5 has 12 total slots on that dial while the X-T30 Mark III only has 10. Not that big of a deal, but one thing to mention. And then, of course, the price. The X-M5 is priced at $1,079 up here in Canada. That makes it the cheapest and most entry-level camera that Fuji offers. And the X-T30 Mark III comes in at $1,249. So the price difference between these two cameras is just around $200. Well, $170 to be exact. And so that all brings us to the last section of this video where we discuss which camera is for you. So for $170 more over the X-M5, what are you getting in the X-T30 Mark III that the X-M5 doesn't have? Well, you get the viewfinder, you get a flash, and you get a body with a bit more robust buttons and dials. But if you want to save $170, well, with the X-M5, you get the fully articulating screen and the slightly higher bitrate for video. Well, and yes, if you care, technically the body is a bit smaller and lighter on the X-M5. Well, which one of these cameras is for you? Well, we actually answered that question in the first minute of the video, and that is, if you're buying a camera to be a video-first camera, then get the X-M5. But if you're looking for a camera that is a photography-first camera, then I would definitely spend $170 more, get that viewfinder, and get the flash, and get the X-T30 Mark III. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Thank you, Fuji, for sending me the X-T30 Mark III to try out. If you guys like this video, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and the like button and leave a comment down below on what you want to see more of on this channel. But until next time, I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.